Today, I'm going to be talking to my friend Ray, who is an owner-operator at FedEx Custom Critical. Coming up. Hey guys, welcome back. We are in Reno right now, and this is my friend Ray, who's not looking at the camera because he's watching the load board, which is so that he doesn't have a load yet. I've already got a load. We're up in Reno. Now, on our channel, I've already shown you guys a bunch of different fleet owners, but I've never shown you a one truck owner operator, which my friend Ray, we've been friends for years, and we connected pretty easily because I'm Portuguese and Ray is Brazilian. So we speak the same language. So Ray, how long have you been at FedEx Custom Critical?
About 8 years now, I think.
8 years?
Not pretty close to it.
And from the beginning, you were an owner operator, right?
Yeah, I started out when we first started this house, we bought an old truck, and I wanted to buy a truck just so I locked myself. I didn't want to leave myself an exit to go back to what I used to do.
Burn the boat.
Exactly. I want to make sure that it was going to be a little bit harder for me to switch back. It worked out.
Yeah, 8 years ago, I could see how that is. But now with the cost of trucks the way it is,
Now the cost of truck is very scary, Frank. It's just like you're talking about certain situation where people can get a traffic violation and then be out of a job. That's sad if you are a fleet owner and you lose a driver like that, but that could be very hard for owner operator. If that was me or my wife that got a ticket and got disqualified, now what? Now you're in a jam. Now you're going to have to go far.
You got $270,000. You got a $5,000 a month payment.
Exactly.
And just because you got disqualified, the bank still wants their check.
Exactly. So now you got to go out and try to find yourself drivers you put on the truck, try to sell the truck. You'll definitely be on the spot.
I'm going to do an episode about that. That's a whole nother story that I want to tell you about. It goes into a little bit more detail and something I want to let everybody know about. That'll be coming up probably beginning of next week.
Today, if I have to recommend for somebody who's going to start this, find yourself a good fleet owner and start with that. Make sure that you like it. Make sure that it is for you.
And that you know what you're doing.
And that you know that you're doing. Well, you got to learn the equipment too. And you're learning on somebody else's equipment. They already giving you equipment that they know from experience is going to work. Now, you may not like everything about that truck.
That's a learning experience.
Exactly.
Too, because you're learning what you like and what you don't like. Right?
So,
that reminds me of something that you told me. Well, how many trucks does it take before you get it right?
Nobody told me, man, it takes somebody a third to fourth truck before you get the truck you want instead of the truck that the salesman and then everybody else builds. Very tough experience, man. You go buy yourself a $30,000, $40,000 car at a dealership and people treat you super nice. Dude, you bought a $300,000 truck. And a lot of these salesmen won't retain your call. It's like you got to chase them every step of the way. It's a rough experience buying a truck. There's nothing like buying a car. It's beautiful.
But when you're buying a car, you have the government's protection, lemon laws. You take the car back for the same three things 3 times in a row. They got to give you your money back. In a truck, you spend $250,000, you spend $300,000, whatever. It's a business-to-business transaction. There's no protection whatsoever.
If you do order a brand new truck with everything in writing, everything in writing. I had a bad experience in the past, and the only thing that got me out of it is that I had it in writing. You know exactly what I want. So if it's not built the way you want it, you can walk away from it, stand it, as long as you got it in writing. If you don't, it can be very costly. You ended up with a truck that you don't want, and you end up having to take it.
What did you do before you were in trucking?
I did electrical contracting for about 30 years. Yeah.
Now,
all of that.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I know the answers to all these questions before going in because Ray and I talk every day when we're on the road. When we're on home time, we leave each other alone. But it makes the time go by fast when you have somebody that you can carry on a good conversations. But 30 years, and one of the things that I talk about is when you get into expediting, you do away with your interaction with the public and people all the time. You go to a shipper, talk to somebody for 10 minutes, and then you're done. And then you go get fuel. Hell, it's gotten to the point of fuel. You don't even have to talk to anybody. You have the app or the card or whatever. And our interaction with the public is very limited except for the four-wheelers who don't know how to drive. Do you remember what her reaction was when you told her this idea about driving?
She was excited and at the same time scared.
That's the
Right?
5700. That's the one I told you I want.
It's the truck. That's got a long hood.
They make it with the short hoods. So
Oh, okay. Truck.
she was intimidated, but
Excited. She was excited to drive it. She never drove anything that big at first. Heck, she wouldn't even drive my work vans. When she got in there, she loved it. She was excited about driving, but she had a rough time the first month to 2 months. Then
she
after
saw
that,
my backup camera on the truck and she fell in love with my backup camera.
anything to make it easy.
When you got the guidelines, they'll line you back to the dock. It's pretty easy. One thing that I wanted to tell everybody is that I do YouTube, but Ray is famous. And so is Lisa.
Right.
Ray and Lisa are famous because if you go to FedEx Custom Critical online, or if you look at these boards that have the little business cards at any truck stop, they're the face of FedEx Custom Critical. I'll put in the picture so you guys can see. They did a photo shoot and everything last year. And we give them grief about being the stars and famous and being the face. Now, in FedEx, we had the introduction of the load board. There's all this technology coming in, and we've had growing pains like crazy. Nobody wanted it, then everybody wants it, and they'll want it this way. We need to change it to this. Every change you make, 50% of the people like it this way, and 50% like this way. So if you've got it one way, 50% of the people are happy, then they change it to make the other 50% happy, and the other 50% become very vocal and unhappy. But it's growing pains of technology. That sound is him getting an alert for the load board. Like I said, we've got about 4,500 miles to cover in the next 5 days. And he just got out to the West Coast. You get out to the West Coast, the number of loads leaving here are not as plentiful as the East Coast. You tend to be, your sense of urgency is a little bit greater.
Nobody likes to get stuck out west.
I don't mind. I've been out here for 10 days, but I made good money coming out. I made good money when I got here, and I'm getting paid good money to get out of here. So I'm happy
If
with
you're
this.
patient,
Patience.
I
is
know
the
you.
key.
I don't run.
We talk a
We
lot.
got a certain standard. Can't say you don't run cheap because we all run cheap from time to time if you go the directions that you want to go.
It's a game of averages. Just because you're running cheap doesn't mean your whole month was cheap.
Exactly. You can run one. It's a matter of positioning. It's almost like playing chess or anything else.
And that's one of the things we do when we mentor people. It's like, why is this town good on a Monday, but it sucks on a Friday? And that's years of experience. What was it like at FedEx when you first started? There was no load board. There was no smartphones. There was...
I started
Smartphones
out
were
when I
just
think
started. You
2
probably
years
did
after I
them.
first started out, the first little word came up and it was Surface. And at that stage, I made the decision I wanted nothing to do with low board or flat rate. And I made a decision to buy the white glove truck. That's when I placed the order for my wife, the white glove truck.
And that was your second truck?
That was my second trip. It's okay. It's like everything else. They make a change, you adapt. They make another change, you adapt.
One of the things that you can count on is change. Everything is going to change. Technology is going to evolve. Companies are going to embrace it. Some are behind the curve, which we talked about, and then they scramble to catch up. And when you scramble to catch up on technology, then mistakes are made a lot of times instead of having the time to get it all out there and learn it and everything. This load board, I love the load board. I do really well with it. I'm patient. He does well. He just likes to complain. It's a Brazilian trait. But at the end of the day, technology is always going to be changing. Unfortunately, we're the guinea pigs, right? We're out here and we're learning.
It's constant change. They're going to push it a certain way to increase profits for them. But being an owner-operator or on both sides of the fence, if FedEx wants to do it so it's more profitable to them, the idea is everybody's got to make a living here and everybody's got to make the stuff work and make it profitable.
And one of the things we've talked about is that not only does FedEx have the clients we serve, we pick up, we carry their freight and everything, but the owner-operators and the fleet owners and the drivers, we're also customers because they're paying us and we're providing a service for them. So we're also their customers. It's double-edged. Talked about that in an article that he did, that as a fleet owner, not only does he have FedEx as a customer, it works both ways, but the drivers are also customers and keeping us happy. FedEx has really on their game when it comes to keeping the customer happy.
If you're doing expediting, to me, he's still the best company out there. He's one of the top companies for you to work. Is it perfect? No. But
Company is perfect.
you find what works for you. The company makes a change, you adapt. So am I happy in every changes that they make? No. It's
Any changes have you seen in 8
it's like-
years?
Yes.
A
Lately
lot.
it's been a lot, but I think you need to start messing with change, especially when you're dealing with stuff that has to do with, if you change the load board, that forces other changes along the company. So next thing you know, because of the load board, they may have to update the computer system. Because the computer system got updated, now they got to update the phone system. And one thing is attached to the other. Next thing, they ended up biting more than they can chew. And it's a mess. That's basically what we've been seeing for the last
today
is one upgrade after the other, probably because the whole system has to be updated.
Every time you tighten one screw, another one gets loose.
Exactly. Because everything is interconnected. It has to work as integration, I guess. They have to integrate the system, and that's where they're having a problem.
Knowing that is half the battle. Understanding that when they say there's going to be an update, it's just hold on.
Exactly.
There's going to be something. The cool part is when you talk to them and go, hey, this is going on. There's a ghosted machine on my load board. I showed it to you, my deadhead to pick up. It doesn't show on my load board, but if I log in through somebody else's account, it still shows the deadhead to pick up. But on my account, it doesn't show. I even talked to Rick and I showed him that and I sent him my log. And it made him scratch his head and he's in charge of the program. It's still one of the biggest complaints. I was talking to, he said that he's seen the rates go down because he's been in it 8 years. At the same time,
this time of year is norm. There's a time of year every year with rates drops. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because supply and demand situation, but every year we go through that stuff. As soon as things slow down, oh, they're not paying on anything. Oh, the rates are going down. I think that varies.
some people complain just to hear themselves talk.
We see it, but the loads come out at very low rates, and you see they disappear. Somebody takes it.
Either somebody takes it or they counter on the load because we're independent
don't know.
contractors. You get snap force dispatch. When it disappears off the load board, we don't know if somebody took it as is or
If it got
they-
canceled, if it got pulled, or whatever.
The blindness and the not knowing is a big thing. The other thing is,
If you are anxious, if you're the kind of person who can't deal with not knowing what you're going to do, you're going to struggle.
I
We
just
see
come
it.
over from truckload.
Even guys
drives
that
them
been
nuts.
here, they can't deal with that uncertainty. They have to be constantly pre-dispatched. They
Yes.
freak out.
I hate
You know
being
what I mean?
pre-dispatched.
They don't want to be the kind of guy that, being the last guy. They're always running scared almost. You know what I mean? And if you're that kind of person, this system won't work for you.
You and I, it's like on a really good load for the end of the week. And then 5 days till that load picked up. And then I filled it in with a decent load in between, which gave me a great week of revenue. But sometimes you take that load in the middle and something goes wrong with that load in the middle and it just cost you your big money load.
This is all part of what we're talking about. When the load board came out, adjusting to everything that's going on. So they make a change. The reason you took a Friday load, even though you didn't have a load,
It was Sunday when I took
Wednesday
that
and Thursday,
Friday load.
you're taking a load a week out. The only reason you did that is because of the time between load. Now you got to try fill in your spare time.
Right.
Sometimes you can't.
With me, I'm at home, kind of like when you're in Florida and you take a Friday load on a Sunday or a Saturday. You're like,
Right.
I'm okay. I'm at home. I'm going to go to the lake. He took me fishing for bass fishing recently, my first time. Lake right by his house. He caught a bass. It was nice. That's 3 pounds.
Nice little
So now I want a bass.
bass.
There goes another custom critical. That's an M2.
You might have to take that load going to Colorado. There you go, Frank. You're going to cross over.
Not me.
Chain up in a
I'm
bit.
headed west. And the weather, I'm going to get over there. It's noon right now over here. So I've got a nice window between noon and 6.
It's in clear.
Yeah, but you're already on the West Coast and you're starting to see all these trucks. You're starting to worry. I'm on it. The prices on these trucks keep going up. The rates keep going down. It seems that way because there's a lot more competition in this field now. When he came over, it was FedEx Custom Critical and maybe Panther was getting started. And that was
Landstar
it.
has been around.
Landstar's been around, but they're not real big in the
FedEx-
expediting,
Let's
right?
say FedEx got to control the refrigerator side of it. Pretty good. The dry side of it, they're decent, but they got some fierce competition from other carriers on the dry load side. Me was the first carrier that I started working for. treated me great. Ever since I started, there's no complaints.
One of the best things here is, let's say you tick somebody off at another carrier. That person can go, well, screw him. I'm going to put him in timeout. I'm not going to send him any loads. Over here, dispatch, if you say no, you're back in the pool. It doesn't matter. If they may be mad at you, you're not going to ruin their day because they got 800 loads. That dispatcher has still got to cover. You're the furthest thing from their mind. And you're right back in the system. They don't put locks on our trucks if they needed us to cover a load. Even that, you don't see that much anymore. That's one thing that I love about being over here. If I say no, it's over. It's not thought about anymore. And I can say no 10 times. On the East Coast, you can get 80 loads in an afternoon. Offers on your Qualcomm or your C-Link, no problem. And you say no to all of them.
I think to be successful the way it is up right now, and the reason you guys are successful, you need to have somebody that's going to help you through it because there's a lot of stuff to figure it out. The reason that you and I boldly do is I know for myself, I have a pretty good idea of what loads coming out of which area and which time of the month. But it's enough where I go to an area and I don't sweat. I'm not going crazy because I'm thinking, oh my God, that's how
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to be without a load. I already have option A, option B, option C lined up. I'll be out of here before Monday or Tuesday with a load. I know that. Like I said, it's not time to hit the panic button yet. And like I said, having a mentor like what you guys do, it's perfect because that helps up a newbie, somebody who doesn't have any experience whatsoever, who comes out here blind, to have somebody and say, hey, don't panic, don't freak out, relax. You got to have something coming up. Keep an eye out for this load or keep an eye out for that load.
We have 3 new teams and all of them hit the ground running first week, hitting over $8,000 of revenue, which is for a newbie to come out here, a rookie that's never done this, doesn't know the load board and everything, to have somebody take them and show them how to do that, the revenue, and you're doing $8,000 out of the gate. There was a 3-month learning curve, and every time something changed, we all had to learn. We've already gone through those changes, and now we can show these people why you should do this or why this is. Let you make the decision. See if it's the right decision. See if it works out. A lot of times it does. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's the name of the game.
Perfect science, but having somebody to help you out is a big thing, especially when you're starting up on something new like this. The truck has to be profitable. You said those trucks are costing somewhere around $300K. That's a lot of dough. You know what I mean?
You have a friend that just built a $300,000 truck.
Yes, it is. Been around for a while. He's another owner-operator who's successful. He's with another company. He's with Landstar, and they run DOD. They used to be with FedEx, and they run pretty good.
And he's not afraid.
No.
He's not afraid because the one thing you can count on is yourself. It's your proven track record. Yeah, I've been doing this for years. I'm super comfortable with it. I can hear all the complaining on Facebook and everything.
It's easy to get.
It's easy for other people. I just gotta, yep. Okay, there's another $6,000 load. Bye.
I'm not saying it's a perfect, wonderful life. You're going to have aggravation. You got loads that cancel on you, put you in a spot sometimes. Being out here, it's business.
Better than working for a living.
When I go home, the things I like about it is I put the truck out of service. My phone don't ring. Nobody bother me. I come out when I want to come out. You know what I mean? And if I get with you, whatever. If I want to go home and I'm 2,000 miles away from home, there's nobody stopping me.
That's right.
If I'm willing to pay for the fuel and willing to get a deadhead to go home, I go home. Not a smart thing to do. I deadhead over 1,000 miles to go home.
Yeah, but when you deadhead over 1,000 miles, you've had a $30,000 month and you don't care.
Exactly.
Money in the bank.
You got something going on where, I got to go home. It doesn't matter. You try your best. You got a load to take you home. You couldn't find it. I'm not going to spend an extra week out here.
How many times does it happen? You got home last week, and then the load that would have taken you home pops up.
Yeah,
that happens all the time. The big message is that if you are wanting to come into this and become an owner-operator, go work for somebody else, whether it's us or somebody else. Go learn the game from somebody else before you go. First of all, it's almost impossible to get financing if you don't have any
It's too high
experience.
risk. Everybody, it's got a different situation. You may have 50, 100K you want to put down on a truck. They'll finance you without a problem. But what are they going to finance you with? What kind of truck are you getting? What kind of equipment? So it's a big risk.
My friend David Manley, who I met at the expo years ago, got to see my truck. He came over to FedEx Custom Critical, and this guy dove headfirst. Went and bought a truck from Expediting Services, used trucks. He's very mechanically inclined, so it was a different story for him. He had a lot of money burning in his pocket, and he wanted to do it. I talked to him a few months later, and he said, I made every mistake you can make.
My first truck was only 60 grand. It was a dry box. That was my startup truck. It took me 2 years before I created the courage and knew enough before I ordered my $230,000 truck, which was the white glove truck. Now, those $230,000 days are long gone. You're looking at just 60 to 300K right now.
Yeah, 260 for an entry-level truck. My truck was 280, and that was 2 years ago. My truck right now would probably be $297,000.
I have no problem going to work for somebody else because I think money-wise, you make just as much money. And it has a lot less stress not owning that truck, not having that big note at the end of the month. The only reason I still own my own truck is I enjoy taking time off.
Here goes another one.
Frank, let's wrap it up. I gotta get.
All right, he's got to go.
I got a load to reply to. Maybe that's the baby that's gonna get me out of here. I don't know.
I saw them earlier. Listen, guys, thank you, Ray, for joining me. He's watching the truck roll by. He's like, more competition, damn it. He's out here on the West Coast. I'm already booked. I don't care.
He's got a load.
Thank you for joining me, and thanks. I've been trying to do this video with Ray for over a year now. They travel on the road with their 2 little dogs. They have 2 Yorkshire Terriers. They have Buddy and Bella. They're their alarm system for their truck. If you have any questions for Ray about becoming an owner-operator, put them in the comments down below. I will do some questions and answers, and I'll ask Ray these questions and get you some answers. If you are interested in expediting, hit us up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the little bell beside it, and YouTube might alert you that I have a new video up. Hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you found some information that you could use. If you're interested in more videos like this, check out this video right here. And if you're interested in expediting or trucking, or you have any questions, make sure you check out the link below.